Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Alice Head Park, or Owl's Head Park. $9 a pack? Yeah, fuck that. Now to get to the real point why I'm here today.
S1959.
1959. Please tell me you all have heard about this bill that's going to pass and basically take away all of our rights as American citizens. All of our rights as American citizens. I will be a suspect of terrorism. You will be a suspect of terrorism. Just for saying, no, that's not right, to the officials. I wrote a letter to, I'm registered to vote in Kansas because I feel like registering to vote in New York isn't really going to get me anywhere, and my vote will count for more if I'm registered in Kansas, which is my hometown. But basically, I wrote to my congresswoman asking her for a legitimate reason as to why she would vote yay for S1959. I mean, it's such a horrific bill that literally strips us of our rights. After this bill, we will not be free to speak anymore. The response that I got just reflects the state that our government is in right now.
Well, maybe in that night of over when you kiss me again, like summertime, the best medicine. I will remember forever. I could never forget. How could I even inspire a notion of regret, baby?
Out of my frustration, pure and utter frustration, I emailed Vocal Brush. Some of you may be familiar with her videos. She's quite passionate about her work and trying to spread the message, as I am. And in my frustration, I didn't think about going to Nancy Boyda's website, but Vocal Brush did the dirty work for me, and she did. And the letter of response that I got was basically what was on her website about homegrown terrorism and her views on the Patriot Act and what we should do to protect our homeland. It did not respond to my question whatsoever, nor did it address S1959 once in the letter. It was just a vague letter that I received that just beat around the bush as far as I'm concerned. It's such a disappointment to get something like that. I mean, I'm trying to have faith. I'm trying to have faith that our democracy can work. But the repeated times that I've sent letters into our Congress, sent letters to political figures, I seem to get the same vague response. They're not even listening to us. Not one bit. I mean, you see people who criticize politicians to their face, and the politicians don't even take it in. They just smirk. and like laugh it off, kind of, and don't even really answer the questions that those people ask. I mean, these people are supposed to represent us, and instead they're laughing at us. Doesn't that tell you something about us? The state that we're in? It's time that we do something for a change. We need to do something before this country completely falls apart. I've been thinking about this, and we can't take the same approach that we do. The way that politics are right now is a very untrustworthy state of mind. And we can't approach it like that. We have to approach it rationally, without getting angry, without being hurtful to others that may not believe us. If somebody approaches you with anger, and you reply with anger, you're just stooping down to that person's level. You're never going to get anywhere with that kind of a response. I mean, don't get me wrong, I'm really upset about this. I'm very upset about this, and it hurts me to see this nation that could be something so great completely being wasted. But we need to take a different approach than others have in the past, or else we're just going to end up exactly where we started. When I was in 8th grade, I interviewed a man who had spent some time in Auschwitz. Victor Tchaikovsky was his name. And one thing that he told me, well, there's two things that he told me that repeatedly that I found kind of amusing, and later on in life have thought back to that and said, hey, this guy really knew what he was talking about. One of the things was that you can't forget the past. You can't forget the past, and you have to look at the past in order to know what didn't work and what has worked. We aren't taking that into our hands right now. We are just acting compulsively. This is wrong. Another thing that he told me that I find quite humorous is that all politicians should be feathered and tarred in the middle of town square, humiliate them, just like they have humiliated us. I find that amusing, but like I said, we need to take a different approach on things. It's not working anymore. And I think that we can see that. I think that we know that from the outcome of all of this craziness recently. Let me know what you think. Maybe we can start a revolution. Peace and love from Manhattan to Manhattan. It's a beautiful day out here in Brooklyn. I hope it's the same way wherever you are at.